The following podcast is brought to you by the Ebb Tide Treatment Center. Many people wrestle with addiction. You don't have to. Reach out to the Ebb Tide Treatment Center, where they wish to empower each individual encountered with the support, hope, and tools required for long-term sobriety, priding themselves on providing the best possible treatment experience for you and your loved ones based on unique needs. They're committed to breaking the stigma that plagues those suffering with addiction and their families by educating and bringing awareness to the community. The Ebb Tide Treatment Center provides individual and group therapy, multiple recovery pathways for support, evidence-based clinical support, integrated aftercare social reintegration, personalized treatment planning, program addressing whole life health, and Vivitrol program, all available. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, reach out to them at ebbtidetc.com or call 844-430-4357. Hello once again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we start today's episode, of course, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for absolutely free, week in and week out. Thanks to SmartMark Video, who records all of our live events. Go to smartmarkvideo.com, get any of our events on DVD as well as best of DVDs, and you can also download MP4s. We also want to thank Angelo's Pizza, who delivers pizza for us at all of our live events, and of course feeding us here as they do every single week. It's always delicious. Make sure you check out Angelo's award-winning pizza on Madison Avenue in Lakewood, Ohio. And of course, we can't forget Jack Prince, who takes care of all of our signage, graphic design, and any other sort of printing needs that we have. You can do the same. Make sure you go and check out Jack Prince at jackprince.com.
jakprince.com.
And don't forget to use the promo code ABSOLUTE CLE1 to save up to $75 off your order.
That's right. And those voices you heard are the owners of AIW, Chandler Biggins and John Thorne. On today's episode, we are actually joined by a special guest, a guy who's been a part of AIW for quite some time.
He was on the first show.
Yeah, and there was a little bit of a departure, then there was a return. We'll get into all of that and more. We welcome to this week's show Mr. Tom Dunn.
Thank you.
Referee Tom Dunn? Is that what should we call him? Just Tom Dunn?
He's a referee, so...
Should we just refer to him as Referee Tom
Senior
Dunn?
official Tom Dunn?
Senior official? He once told me in the ring he no longer was senior official, though.
I think Jay Clemens is.
No, he's not.
Am I?
No.
Okay.
It's you. You can't
Okay.
pass the buck.
I think Jay Clemens is lower than Dave Potato on the totem pole.
Well,
Ooh, well, he doesn't have a child on the way.
He might.
Jay Clemens might be under every ref we've ever booked.
Yeah, I think he's way down the list.
There's Jerry's Uncle Marty. He was a ref once.
Oh, yeah, Marty Thompson.
There was a guy, Johnny Blaze, who had a giant Juggalo tattoo on his arm.
What about that guy Bruce that used to come with the Olsen twins and he tried to sleep in my parents' breezeway?
Oh, Bruce. The guy was at least 65.
Bruce.
He was really mad that your parents didn't have an empty bed for him.
Yeah, because we went to my parents' house and they didn't know. I don't live there or anything. And they didn't know we were coming. I just threw a pool party in their backyard after an AIW show. And this referee was like, "Hey, man, is there a bed to sleep in?" I go, "No, my parents don't even know I'm here."
Well, and there's that guy Bobby, right? Taller, skinny kid.
Oh, Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Harold Potter.
Yeah, him.
That's
another
a
referee.
legend, brother.
Oh,
Why don't you do some research
So
before you
sorry.
get into this industry?
Masked Frank was a ref once.
Oh yeah, Master.
Now he's a caterer for the locker room.
Yeah, now he's a caterer to the Masked Fish.
oh, great food though.
Unknown without a mask one time. Kayfabe.
All right, people are getting bored with all this ref
They are.
talk.
Yeah, a lot of referee talk.
Let's get into the history of Tom Dunn.
yeah. Tom Dunn, why don't you tell us a little bit of how you even got involved in the wrestling industry to
Because
start?
I think you have an interesting story because I think you're probably one of the only referees that actually trained to be a pro wrestler.
Yeah. When I was
Or trained.
trained at all. Well,
Yeah, Dave the Potato hasn't paid no dues.
That's a good one.
none. God, back in high school, that's what I wanted to do. I wrote a report. I guess my senior year. Like, what do you want to do with your life? And mine was wrestling. And everyone thought it was crazy, but I fulfilled every requirement of it, and I guess I passed. I don't know. I got out of
Like,
high school.
how did you even know like what the requirements were?
Well, I meant for
For his
the
report.
for the actual term
Oh,
paper.
okay.
Yeah, like, and they didn't want me to do it, but I
Did
turned it in.
Was it like how your counselor like finds colleges for you? Did your high school counselor find you wrestling school?
No, I had to do that through wrestling magazines. Actually, that was way before the internet, and I found like Killer Kowalski, and there was a Quest, I think.
You
in,
could have been Triple H.
Connecticut.
You could have been Triple H.
Yeah, I could have been, but
Could have been Perry Saturn.
Well, probably better off with
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
doing okay with. But yeah, I found Larry Sharp's Monster Factory, and we went out there, and it was actually closed. We drove all the way to New Jersey, and it was closed for the weekend or something. My dad took me out there. And
Where were you living at that time?
Youngstown, Ohio.
So you went all the way to Jersey from
Yeah,
Youngstown.
for basically nothing.
Oh man,
You didn't want to call in advance and run up that long distance
Yeah,
bill.
what was
No,
that about?
no, with the dial.
Yeah.
calling from the kitchen.
Get your Sprint card that Candace Bergen told you.
No,
to
that's
get?
probably way before
Before
they.
that?
Tom Dunn's a little up there in age, as
Little
we'll get to later.
I'm young at heart, though.
So, like, what do you think it was? Like, Larry Sharp was on the road that weekend or something?
There was something going on. I remember my dad even took to the police department to see like if it was because he didn't know anything about it. You know, like I knew
like,
that
just checking if it's on the up and up.
my cousin played for the Steelers, so he was expecting a giant training camp.
And it was
this
probably like a
was
renovated VFW hall or something.
It was like in an old Dairy Mart. Yeah. So we go home, and I'm kind of like, well, let's see where it goes. And then I saw in a magazine that Charlie Fulton was opening a Monster Factory up in Marion, Ohio. So I went up there, did the tryout, and trained there.
So in those days, because this is probably early '90s, I assume.
Yeah, yeah.
So what was a tryout like when kayfabe was still running hard?
He was pretty open with stuff. Yeah, he didn't hide.
It wasn't
too much.
like just beat you up and break your leg stuff.
Basically, just cardio, running the ropes, seeing if you could bump.
And what's
fall.
crazy is probably 5 years before he would have broke your leg.
Yeah, right.
So, like, in that 5 years, it already transitioned.
That's when it started opening up a lot more.
Did he have any like notable guys there at the time?
At the time, no, he had just opened. We had like local guys, Ron Cumberledge.
Oh
and,
man, Ron Cumberledge. That guy did so many like wrestling superstars
yeah,
tapings.
Sid Vicious, yeah.
Once dated my my aunt for an entire summer once.
See?
a whole summer.
Ron Cumberledge coming full
Yeah,
circle.
Scotty Summers, Johnny Paradise. Johnny was
Hot body Scotty
Yeah,
Summers.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Beef Stew Lou there at that time yet?
No. Actually, him and like Frank Marconi
Or Frank Stiletto.
Frank Stiletto.
Handsome
yeah.
Frank Stiletto.
Yeah, they were after me. Wildcat Chris Harris came from there.
Handsome Frank Stiletto and Beef Stew Lou Marconi. Those are my
Yeah.
trainers.
Mm-hmm.
These are the
yeah.
monikers that are missing in today's wrestling.
Handsome Frank. The only thing he taught us, he said, you got to learn 3 things to be in this business to make you a man. You got to get in a bar fight, you got to buy a hooker, and you got to spend a night in jail. And that was his wrestling class.
So, are you a man now? Or?
Yeah,
I never bought a hooker yet. Well, I mean, I maybe a rub and tug. I don't know. That's
the
debatable.
The Canada story, sure.
No, I mean, there's more than just one.
So anyway, you do the wrestling training.
Right.
You're there. For how long? When was your first match then? there.
17 years later.
17 years
What?
later.
Yeah, that's got to be a world record.
I mean, they say people learn at different paces.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took me 17 years.
You were
to
on
get
like the
record.
Kurt Hurt schedule.
No, see.
Did you go
no,
like right into reffing and you just did
No,
wrestle?
no.
or-
I was training and I blew my knee out.
Okay.
So I was out. I was
For
pretty
17
well
years,
like
that's a-
fully trained, like, and just waiting
So,
for
like,
the
how
time
long
to
do you think
debut.
the time was? Like 6 months, a year?
Yeah, like 6 months. Yeah, driving to Marion every weekend. That was almost 3 hours. Now there's one like you can find a wrestling school 15 minutes away from your house.
Yeah,
but
every corner now.
back then you had
Including
to.
one at Old School Iron. Email aiw@aiwrestling.com
Oh.
to sign up today.
We needed a little ding noise for all Biggins plugs.
Ding, ding.
Get trained by the best. TJ over at Old School Iron.
I'll get you in shape. You won't. I don't know if he'll train you how to wrestle.
That's an additional cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an additional cost.
Group cost. So 6 months later, you finished training.
Yeah, but I blew my knee out during training one
Oh.
night, destroyed it, had surgery and everything, and I was out for, God, maybe 10 years or something.
Because of your knee.
I just didn't want. I was like, I'm not going to have surgery every year. Or, it was pretty bad.
So
they
it-
put screws.
You never
in
got
and
back
everything.
up on the horse. It was just like,
No.
That was it, huh?
That was it. I gave up. And actually, you know, I still followed it. I still went to indie shows. I still went to WWF shows.
I guess this will probably transition into a lot of people don't know that you actually were a promoter
Oh,
for at least one event, right?
one event back in 2001, I think,
Is this-
October.
This is how it brings you back in? Is that what?
Yeah.
So what led you to be a promoter?
Yeah.
A friend of mine that we went to like rival high schools. I became friends with him, and he wrestled a little bit too in a tag team called the Kingpins. They did a bowling gimmick.
I was gonna ask
They
that.
did a
That's
little
great.
Memphis, and they did it. They had shots with everybody, but nothing really.
The one
panned
time
out.
I went to WCW in my life, I got a free ticket from Klondike Bill from the Tony Schiavone podcast, but the Kingpins were the dark match that night.
Yeah, with Shark Boy and
I don't
Jerry
remember.
Flynn, maybe.
Oh, Jerry! I saw Jerry Flynn live. Oh man,
Dude, I love Jerry Flynn. I try to find, if anybody knows how to find Jerry Flynn, please let me know, because I try to find him for the J-Lid every year.
What was that thing they tried to steal from the? They stole the Lions Den, but it was him fighting people in like a basement.
Oh, dude, I don't know, but I love Jerry
That was
Flynn.
excellent.
So he convinced me. He had some connections. He trained in Minnesota, so he knew Kurt Hennig, he knew X-Pac, Nasty Boys. So we said, let's run a show, and he had no money to put in it, so it was all my money. And we did bring in Kurt Hennig, wrestled 4 minutes against.
I mean, I think that's
Chris
pretty
Cage.
like I think that's pretty interesting though. You know, like not a lot of people can just say, "Hey, I booked an indie show with Mr. Perfect on it."
Yeah, like I don't know. You might know better than me. Like,
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did.
He wasn't a guy that like he did some stuff, but not a lot.
no, he was kind of
He's pretty much
WWF.
like he's pretty much locked down his whole career, except for you got him in
AWA.
that little time off.
Yeah,
or
that little
whatever.
window, yeah. So he came in, wrestled Chris Cage, who was from Youngstown. He wrestled in WWE.
one of the Dude Busters.
Right, Dude Buster with Trent Barretta.
Kalen Croft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, was Mr. Perfect expensive?
Yeah, I probably paid a big mark price for him.
Yeah, I mean, he is Mr. Perfect.
Yeah. Wrestled 4 minutes, a little squash, main event.
Was there any talk of booking the Genius with him?
No.
That would have
Oh,
been
that's
sweet.
a shame.
Were
Who
you
else?
able to recoup some of that money? Like, did you have a solid attendance for the show?
No, because
Welcome to the biz, kid.
the attendance was okay, but we started booking it, and then 9/11 happened.
Oh,
And no one wanted to leave their house, let alone go to a wrestling show. So
Not even for
drew a
Mr.
couple
Perfect.
hundred people, but yeah, I was stupid.
And then who else was booked on the card? Any notable people? or-
booked originally, we had Ron Killings booked.
Oh, our truth.
true. Yeah.
What's up?
Couldn't get a hold of him after a while. No money was sent to him though.
Oh, that's good.
The Nasty Boys.
Brian Knobs and Jerry Sags.
Yeah, they. I bought them plane tickets that were $400 a piece, and they canceled 3 days before the show, so I lost that.
They probably cashed those tickets right in.
Oh man.
We did have Tracy Smothers come in.
Yeah, of course you did.
That's awesome.
Tracy was there with J.C. Bailey. He brought young J.C. Bailey.
Oh,
yeah.
Tracy's a
Tracy was
professional.
not going to let the terrorists win. He was going to come.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. No, Tracy
He was going to
great.
come no matter what.
He probably pitched some sort of match where he had to fight a terrorist or something.
Get one of those guys, dress him up like Osama, kick his ass.
He actually wrestled Scotty O or
from, like-
Scotty Saber. Scotty Saber.
Yeah, an OVW guy.
Yeah. Who
So
had
the Nasty Boys still owe you money right now?
yeah. So if they're listening,
Brian Knobs, Jerry Sags, give Tom Dunn his fucking $800.
$800, boys.
Oh my God! If I'm so mad about Callisto owing me $40,
Yeah.
imagine how you feel with 800.
I met the Nasty Boys one time, and I introduced myself to them, and they said, "Hey, carry our fucking bags to our car." it's very.
I did not get that. I met them in Miami at the Legends of Wrestling show.
They had some ladies with them. He said, "Hey, carry our fucking bags, man."
Ooh.
And I carried those fucking bags.
Did you get the armpit?
No, dude, the pit stop?
Pity City.
Fuck no, dude.
Well, Nasty Boys, you owe Tom Dunn $800.
yes.
Make do. We always get our payments on
Yeah, dude.
Really?
the card is going to change here, Tom
Callisto is even with us.
His debt has been paid.
All right.
His debt was paid, so you might have 800 smackers coming from WWE coming your way.
That's right.
would
We're
be
gonna find it for you.
Good.
Our people help us out here on
Thank
the show.
you.
So was the Nasty Boys experience? Is that what led you to never want to do another show?
Kind of, yeah. I kind of got out of my system. Yeah.
Did you have like any interaction with Mr. Perfect?
A little bit. Actually, I worked at a bar at the time, and he came to the bar the night before.
Oh, yeah?
And he did the gimmick, the gargle Jack Daniels.
Oh, really?
He was actually doing that. Yeah,
That-
with the people at the bar and stuff.
That's great.
That sounds
Yeah.
disgusting.
Insane.
That sounds so
Did he
disgusting.
know? I mean, did he go there knowing that you were the guy who brought him in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
With my friend.
Oh,
My friend
yeah.
went and picked him up at the airport.
Got
They were
it.
friends, and he brought him down to the bar when I was working. So, yeah, it wasn't a terrible experience. It was
he a
expensive.
Dick? Was he a dick?
No, he was all right. He was kind of what you expect. He wasn't my best friend, but
But he was cordial.
yeah.
That's good.
All business. Kurt Hennig.
Exactly.
All right, so you promote one show,
Yes.
and then you decide I'm not a promoter.
Done.
You're not wrestling.
No.
Where does this lead you then?
How do you put on the zebras? The
Yeah.
zebra stripes.
Actually-
That's got to come next, right?
Yeah, I was actually just kind of like sitting around bored, and I said, I need something. I need to do something. I have this, I have
Yeah.
this little background. And I had been to a show in Stowe, Ohio.
Oh,
for,
beautiful Stowe.
One of John Potak's shows, UWC.
I saw Dave Batista wrestle there.
Yeah, that was before.
He
I
wrestled.
s-
He
I
wrestled a
went
guy named Jay Pumper.
Okay. Oh, he was a local
firefighter.
Yeah.
Jay Pumper versus Leviathan. I saw.
Yeah. And I went to a show just to go, like Roadkill and Danny Doring were there. New Jack was there.
Oh, big.
I was there. That's
Okay,
that's
yeah.
where I was the intermission entertainment.
Oh.
my public access television
Wow.
show.
I remember that. I didn't.
It all
If
comes
you look up
back.
on YouTube, it's the clip where I interview New Jack and I go, "How can I be hardcore? How can I be like you?" And he goes, "Take a gun out and kill the bitch."
Wow.
It is amazing how all these origin stories intertwine. It really is. Like we are some.
Oh, yeah. It's
like a
superhero
final-
universe
Like
here. Yeah.
backstage, I interviewed Danny Doring, Roadkill, the Prodigy, Tom Marquez
Yeah,
was there.
yeah.
Danny Doring's really fucking pissed at Disney World right now, man.
I was so mad because he had a bad experience at Planet Hollywood Observatory.
If you're out there listening, everyone tweet Disney World that they fucked over Danny Doring, the dastardly one. He's very upset on Twitter
At
right
least
now.
once a week, he always will bury some restaurant because they ran out of barbecue once he was at.
Yeah.
He's very entertaining. Dan Morrison Sugar Mask on.
Yeah, at Sugar Mask on Twitter. Follow the dastardly one.
So you're at the show in Stowe, Ohio.
Yeah, well,
but you're just attending, right?
yeah, I went with a friend, and
Did you enjoy the hot dog getting contest at intermission?
I don't even remember it.
Girls held hot dogs in their crotch, and then the guys had to eat the hot dogs.
Wow.
That was SCP mayhem.
I remember brain damage, bleeding like a pig.
Oh, so much blood.
Against New Jack. But no, I had they gave away programs, and I had the program sitting at home, and I didn't have any contacts anymore. I didn't know who to get back in.
Yeah.
And
You should have tracked down handsome Frank Stiletto, man. He's probably running
I didn't
hot.
even know him yet. Yeah, it was years before I even worked with him, met him. But I had the program, and there was like an email or something, like uwclive.com, and I emailed it, and Rick Lieb. I talked
the
to
role,
Rick Lieb.
the role model.
The guy who claims Jerry the King Lawler stole his entire act at that Leviathan show. He goes, he saw me in the ring and stole my whole act.
Yep, Jerry the King. He stole it.
That happens a lot with him. But I wrote him, and he said, go to Barberton, Ohio, go to the Shamrock nightclub, talk to John Potok, and get you a tryout.
Which I'm sure 99.9% of our audience doesn't know what the Shamrock is.
No.
But it's a motel that you can rent by the hour.
Yeah, well, everything's gone now.
Yeah, because it got
Yeah.
flooded and they tore it down. But it's a hotel you can rent by the hour next to a strip club, and they had wrestling shows in the basement of the bar.
Weekly.
Yeah.
Weekly. What was it, every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday night, yeah, at the bar. And I remember walking in with my bag and looking around and seeing some of the guys, and I'm like, what?
And how many hours did you book at the hotel?
None. Never stepped foot in a room. And I'm like, just kind of looking around, like, what happened to wrestling? You know, I'm looking at some of these guys.
I
and,
look around nowadays and I say, what happened to wrestling?
Yeah. I was looking for the 6'2", 250-pound steroid monster, and I'm seeing not.
A lot of sweatpants.
A lot of sweatpants, pajama pants, tennis shoes, lots of T-shirts. And but then Unknown and Virus walked in with probably Jason Thunder, too.
Who also went to high school at Chandler Biggins.
Yes, they went to same high school with
three
me.
of 'em, yeah.
Everything's intertwined with me.
Amazing.
It's like your final destination, you two.
Yeah.
Yeah, Unknown and Virus. I'd seen them. They were probably 15 years old. They used to work shows like near me. They do the opening match, these little tag matches. A bunch of 15-year-old kids with hoods on. And I had seen them without the hoods. I knew who they were, so I immediately went to them because I'm like, okay, these kids, at least they know what they're doing a little bit.
Which, real quick, the crazy thing about them was the federation that ran in Stowe had a 20 by 20 ring. So watching luchadors try to do stuff in a 20 by 20 ring was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like actually, Rob Viper on Twitter he just sent us a tweet with like clips from the old Virus and Unknown website or whatever. He goes, "Who were these guys? I used to watch these clips on the internet all the time."
They used to sell me VHS tapes in Study Hall.
Yeah, because they had a ring in their barn.
Yeah.
At Blazing Bill's, amazing restaurant.
Oh yeah, been there.
Yeah, see, everything's intertwined.
Yeah.
There's a wrestling ring back there.
Oh man.
I think it's gone now.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, I think he might have sold it, but his dad built him a barn to keep the ring in.
Yeah, right behind the restaurant. It's huge.
Okay.
So you're there for this tryout. Now, is this
Yeah.
tryout to wrestle or
No, just to referee.
To referee.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Guy would have shot right to the main event if he was there.
And I can't even remember who was in the my tryout match.
It's like ghost.
Except
I don't even know what that was.
Tyrone Evans was in it. Young Tyrone Evans.
Tarver.
Yeah, who became WWE's Michael Tarver.
1.9 seconds.
Yeah. So he was in the first match I ever refereed. So, but that went okay, and I did the weekly shows, and it was okay. And then actually, Unknown said, like, we kind of like you. Do you really want to keep doing this? Do you want to get out there? So they took me to Black Diamond, where the pay was a deli tray that we could eat off of. So
And not even like a good deli tray. It was like for like Shop and Save
yeah,
or
it was
something.
terrible, and they were throwing the food everywhere. But one night after a Tuesday show, Unknown left his wristbands, his little spandex custom wristbands, and I gave him a call on the kitchen phone when I got home because I grabbed them up, and I said, "I have your wristbands." He said, "Are you working that show Sunday?" I think Sunday, and
Yeah, it was Memorial Day Sunday.
okay, and I said, "No, I don't even know who's running it, who to talk to." He said, "Hold on." He called me back 2 minutes later. He goes, "I'll see you Sunday. You're booked." And that was the first AIW show.
I didn't even know how you got there, man.
Yeah, he must have talked to one of the other owners.
One of the, what do I call them?
Goofs.
Goofs. Fucking goofs.
So that was.
So that was your intro into AIW then?
Yeah, a
at that
couple
point.
of
So
left-
what year are we talking about there?
2005.
Very
Memorial
first
Day
show.
weekend, 2005.
You know who was in attendance at that show?
You?
No, I wasn't.
Oh,
Chandler Biggins.
That was a horrible
Chandler.
story.
Yes.
Biggins.
Oh yeah,
Right there.
I knew of Chandler a little bit before that.
The paths continuously.
So
cross.
then, 2005, 2006, I make my debut, and you and I ended up riding together a lot.
Yeah.
And at some point, it went south.
Well, let me go.
Good friends,
let's go-
better enemies.
Let's go backwards a little bit because of the whole origins and Biggins being introduced to the boys in the back. First, he's a fan that everybody hated. Now, when he gets introduced as the owner, were you aware that everybody, like all the wrestlers, hated him at that time?
Not
And were you one of
really.
the did
No.
you view him as an obnoxious fan?
No, because I wasn't around enough.
Okay.
Because he was
Yeah.
more south. Like,
Yeah, I was more, I guess, based at the moment, more Akron
So
and
you
not
were
Cleveland.
just coming in once in a while.
Yeah, like rarely. Like AIW was my first Cleveland, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, it was. That was before
now
Cleveland
you
All
probably
Pro.
have about 10 Clevelands under your belt, but
Yeah.
So then we go fast forward into the AIW's ride along.
yeah, like I remember us making a lot of trips. I remember a lot of times it would be you, me, and EC3.
Yeah, we went to Goodwill once with him.
Yeah.
Not Goodwill, a thrift store.
Yeah, EC3 at a thrift store is like a 5-year-old child at like Toys R Us. He just runs through the aisles, finding clothes he likes, finding clothes for other wrestlers.
Yeah, we bought Rebus a nice shirt that day.
Yeah, the Fun Olympics.
Yeah.
And then I don't know, but good friends, better enemies.
So things went south.
Things went south.
How did things go south?
There was a split. Did we talk about the company split?
There was the AI. Okay, so the famed
Well, I
AIW
think it was
split.
building up before then. Something like I think it was just like oil and water. Because the time I wrestled J-Rock, I might have what do we call it?
Puked?
No, not puked. I did that too. What did you call? I pulled out the sword.
Oh, got the sword out.
I got the sword out,
Oh,
And I go to Tom Dunn. I go, how's it look? And he goes, awful. Meanwhile, I had a pretty good color. So I asked J-Rock to do it because I was so scared because I wanted color. He didn't like me at the time. He tells J-Rock, he tells me, oh, it looks like shit. So then J-Rock just carves me.
He new jacked him, dude.
Yeah, new jack. Now he poked and turned, but it was...
One coast to coast.
There was one that was pretty long in there.
Yeah, there was a deep one.
So you guys, not fans of each other, it became.
Yeah, I guess during the split, it just went south. He went with the other side. We kept going.
Yeah, is that what happened? I mean, you just kind of, like, you picked a side?
Kind of, yeah. A lot of
the localized people went in the other direction.
Because I think all we were left with was Dio Salvador,
Corey Graves, Tyler Black,
Tarver,
and Steve Carino came once.
once. Booked about 10 times, but came once.
Was there a reason that you went the other direction?
I think my opinion is I think because Ray Rowe went the other direction and he kind of led the charge. It
might have been that. I honestly don't remember.
Because I don't think many people had faith in the fucking goof.
Yeah, it was all Ray Rowe. Ray Rowe was leading the charge.
Yeah, Ray was friends with the other guy, and I think people just went with him. And it became like it was almost the same show every show though. The same 15 guys.
Well, yeah, because they had their crew.
Yeah.
And they never built on it.
I ended up kind of not even going after a while. I kind of didn't quit, but just kind of stopped going. I didn't attend the last 3-4 shows, I think, because it just wasn't fun.
It would keep starting and upstart going, and like it just was a mess.
Yeah. I know people think we make millions of dollars doing this.
They do?
But if it's not fun, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't fun anymore there. So
then at some point you had the change of heart and you decide.
I mean, do we get it? Like, these guys had quite the epic online wars.
So there's an online war.
Oh, I think at one time Tom Dunn multiple times said he was going to kill me if he ever saw me.
never.
And then one time Tom Dunn.
Now we're getting somewhere.
Now one time I went to a show that in Youngstown that Tom Dunn was at, and he said he was going to jump me. So Thorne remembers this. I had a sock full of quarters in my pocket because I figured I can't carry a weapon. My knife is by my bed.
Well, in case that werewolf shows up.
Hey,
yeah.
we don't talk about that. So I had a sock full of quarters because I figured if anything goes wrong, I could use it. And then I just dumped the quarters in my pocket, throw the sock away.
I just now remembered what led to the initial dissension between you two guys.
Oh, yeah.
And it was when AIW ran WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 23 weekend, and we went to an after party, and nobody knew Tom Dunn's age. And Chandler Biggins.
Oh, yeah.
Chandler Biggins whispered. Chandler Biggins went to the owner of the bar because we had a bar sponsor up there, and he said, "Hey, can you go ID that guy and tell me what his date of birth is?"
So okay, it wasn't WrestleMania weekend. It was the show in Michigan afterwards in June, which was the final show of all the original owners. And Tom Dunn was very careful about kayfabing his age. Real careful.
Very careful.
Very careful.
That's something I actually learned from Smothers years ago. He told my buddy that. He's like, "I'll never tell people how old you are." So I always remember that. I'm 32.
Yeah. Smothers is 34, right?
Get real with the fever on the dance floor. Now who got the fever for the flame? Who can dig the way that I flex on a track? Conclusion rampage. Ricky Rick on point with the knockbout style from my left. That be rolling the mad joints. Just put your hands in the air. Cause there's a party over here. So grab yourself a beer. And we can get our fever on. I'm with it. So let me put my big brown fever on. I'm coming with the disco. I can flip.
What's up, everybody? This is Alex Worldwide Keller here to tell you all about the thrift store jobber and his fabulous wares. And you know what? I like taking things to the extreme. And here we are with an extreme piece of vintage merchandise. That's right, FBI, full-blooded Italians on the front. And on the back it says, "Hey, you talking to me?" I'm not even going to try to describe the spelling on the back of this shirt. But it is a beaut, and it is a size large. Find out all about it at Thrift Store Jobber on Instagram. Find the brother on Etsy and elsewhere, eBay, and use the promo code WORLDWIDE to get 10% off any order. Worldwide, cabron. I think that was Italian idea. Whatever.
We got it going on, so let me get my flowing on. It's the blast on the past, then he heard of me and the boys coming down with murder, and it's gotta be the way. Everybody wants to make a move, so just party, or we can have a jam. So get your move on, I'ma take this groove and slam. Flip it how I want it, flip from the back to the front when I drops me the manuscript. Cause I got the moves, and I'm always on the flow with the crazy, crazy grooves. Tell me, can it feel the math skills coming with the fever, fever, fever?
I just remember that was really the catalyst for what led on to.
Oh, I don't know if that was.
That was
So I had the guy, like, because we had been to Michigan a couple times, so he was friendly with us. I go card like that whole table and tell me that one guy's age. And he carded everybody. He's like, there's problems at the door. I got to see everybody's ID. And then I just walk up to him and I go, hey, Tom Dunn, you were born in 1987. I didn't say that, but I'm not going to reveal his real age.
Yeah.
Oh, he learned his lesson.
Yeah. We need refs that are reliable.
It got quiet there for a second. We're all like, that's not.
So I
that's
mean,
not
if
accurate.
if Twitter would have been around in this era,
this would have been a Twitter beef.
Oh man, it was a message. It was message board beef.
Message board beef.
Oh, this is good.
I did threaten one time we were going to hire a private investigator and have him reveal Tom Dunn's entire past history in the ring at intermission.
What's your response to all of this?
Oh, I don't know.
He said he was going to kill me.
His response was, "I'm gonna murder him."
No, I don't.
That's why I'm walking around Youngstown with a sock full of quarters.
That was my birthday too. That
Oh,
show.
man.
In
You were going to
Youngstown.
knock him out on his birthday.
No, we were going to have the private investigator on his birthday.
Be honest, Tom Dunn. Did you or did you not threaten to kill Chandler Biggins?
I don't think I did.
Oh, I can find the post.
Biggins he's a vault of memories.
He's
He
our
never,
Yeah, I
SEO
know.
specialist too. He'll find this.
yeah, and he also has a private investigator on his fucking staff.
That's right.
I was really going to find one. I don't know how much they cost, though, so that'd probably be a problem.
So how long did this beef go?
Years.
Yeah, years.
Many years.
Maybe
Years.
5, 6. It was quiet. I mean, it wasn't like an active thing for all that time, but
No.
It was-
But, like, if we saw each other in public, it was not going to be good.
Wow. So this
Yeah, because
was-
Biggins had his sock of quarters.
Yeah, my sock, I was going to swing around and hit him.
Did you ever have any indication that Biggins was maybe gonna try to get physical with
No,
you?
I was
in
on
self-defense.
the defense.
Oh, okay.
I'm not a offensive guy.
But you did
Right.
get into one fight though in your life, right? And you
Yeah, I broke a kid's arm in 7th grade. But he started it. He came after me, so I uppercutted him. He flew over a desk and broke his arm and tried to sue me.
well, there you have it. That's your
But
first
I had a
lesson.
patch of hair pulled out of my head.
Yeah, and then like other people got involved, like AIW bartender Nick Sanka. He made a flyer called AIW Blood in the Water or something, and it had Old Testament Tom Dunn versus
Wow.
somebody.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah,
And then he was going to fight Patrick Hayes.
yeah.
He did fight Patrick Hayes
Multiple
a couple times.
times.
Yeah. Hotel room fights.
So this beef goes on for a little bit. How does it get patched up? What brings you back then?
Just we'd see each other at shows.
Yeah, I asked him earlier when he got here. I don't remember the exact moment that we were like, hey, what's up, man?
Well, the fucking Goofs went out of business.
Right.
But he had already left anyways, so it was kind
He's
of...
refereeing
I was
other places.
probably at PWO Prime by then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like we
like-
were at those shows, but like I don't remember the moment where we were
Yeah.
like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, we just kind of run into each other. And
I mean,
like,
the issue was really between Biggins and Tom Dunn. I was just kind of in the middle.
So there was
Yeah,
just
you
like
were
a
quiet.
natural, hey, we're over this. This is done.
I think
No
he
pun intended.
I think he took a lot of heat for the fucking goof, and I think Thorne and Ray kind of clashed more about the fucking goof. And then with the fucking goof out of the picture, I think it was just kind of like, okay, the fucking goof's gone, problem solved.
kind of it
Okay.
just kind of dissipated. It just kind of went, like
Because I think the
was
fucking
no-
goof really, and there was two fucking goofs, and both of them I think were guys that threw gas on the fire. Hey, Tom Dunn, can you believe what Biggins said? Hey, Biggins, can you believe what Tom Dunn's saying? And vice versa with everybody else.
Biggins not one to hold a grudge ever, so that's good.
Yeah.
Hey, he didn't owe me money, so he was good.
I actually did.
Yeah, he did owe me money.
I-
That was a point of contention. I forgot about that.
$15 for a Spike Dudley action figure.
Yeah, the last time I saw him, he bought an action figure from me, and then I forget what you said. You said we were even somehow.
No, I paid you back.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
think maybe one of my first shows back here.
Oh, see, already making money off this
I
guy.
remembered. Yeah.
So
This podcast gets debts paid, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, good.
We're gonna get that money from the Nasty Boys. Don't you worry, Tom.
I think they're going to be at WrestleCon. Let's fight them.
I'll let you go with your uppercut, dude.
I got a sock.
Yeah, your sock of quarters and your uppercut. Maybe you'll break an arm.
So, what's the grand return to AIW?
This is a doozy.
Yeah.
Well,
There's an 8-man tag, the bloodiest match in AIW history at Turner's Hall. All of a sudden, a giant referee in a Nixon mask comes out, rips off his mask, and says, "I'm back, Biggins," and throws the mask at me. But Eddie Kingston, who's laying on the ground, thinks Tom Dunn just dropped the N-bomb. Eddie Kingston was not a happy camper.
He legit thought he did.
Oh, he legit thought he did.
He thought it was a hard R on that.
Oh man.
He goes, "What the fuck? Why is this ref saying the N-word?"
Biggins. I was looking around because it was my return after 7 years. I'm like, I need to do something. You know, like half the fans didn't even know who I was. Or,
Right.
Oh, it's the guy from the other Fed. So wasn't that big a deal, maybe. But storyline it was. And I screwed the Team AIW for
Because
Team
I think
Nixon.
Johnny
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano did a run-in, and so he came out and DQ'd everybody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
So
and
one
I'm
time
looking around.
Johnny Gargano and the Necro Butcher really locked horns.
Johnny
Yeah.
challenged us. He goes, "I'll never be in the ring with the Necro Butcher ever," and we got him. We trapped him.
And I looked around. I see Chandler walking around the back watching. I just screamed, "I'm back, Biggins!" And
Well, I was trying to figure out how to clean up gallons of blood, but
yeah, that was a mess.
Turner's Hall smelled fine. It smelled better than it normally does. It smelled like a copper penny or something. It was
Yeah.
so much blood.
Yeah, I remember Chris Dickinson saying it smells like a meat locker. Well, Eric Ryan
like a meat locker in here.
yeah.
So Eddie Kingston's thinking you're dropping N-bombs.
Yeah.
Also wants to never hold grudges. Does he confront you over this?
No.
No?
He
No, I
confronted
think
Biggins.
he
Just
confronted
confront
me.
Biggins.
He's like, "What's this ref doing? Dropping hard R's,
But then he backed off because Biggins had his sock of quarters with him just in case Tom Dunn,
whipping him around."
just in case things with Tom Dunn went awry in the big return.
No, I've only had soccer quarters one time, and it was in Youngstown because I felt I was going to be attacked.
By Tom.
Because that was in the heat of the moment.
If this podcast has taught people anything, it's Biggins is always packing some sort of weapons.
Yeah. He's always ready to go.
Sometimes I'm like Taz, my hands are my only weapons.
Well, yeah, with that uppercut where you broke the guy's arm.
That was in 7th grade, though. I think I had a physical advantage over him.
How old was he?
7th grade still, too.
7.
7.
So you're back in AIW. What year is this at that point?
Must be
2012 maybe.
Yeah,
so this is
2012.
that long ago, 5 years ago. And you've been back ever since.
Yes.
Senior official.
Yes.
So you were off for what, since 07? So you had 4 years off.
At least, yeah.
Yeah.
Seemed like longer, but yeah.
And
Those years seemed like they were forever, and now these years just fly by.
Right. Yeah.
That 4 years was fucking long, man.
Yeah, it felt about a decade.
I mean, you've been through the beginnings and you've watched them, whether from the outside or been a part of it, and obviously then came back.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about the things that have changed.
Oh, God.
Maybe for better, for worse.
Oh.
I mean, the AIW now is obviously not the AIW that it was when you first started out, nor is it probably the AIW that you returned to in 2012,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I still remember the first show, and it was good, but you didn't have your footing yet. You know,
Oh, I
there
mean,
was
we
a
didn't
lot
know
of
what-
friends.
we didn't-
It was-
But, like, I
We didn't
think
know
it
what the
might have
fuck we
been
were doing.
good comparison to what was in Cleveland at that time.
right.
Like, now you go back and watch it, it's the most cringeworthy thing you've ever seen in your life.
But just the talent. Like, I'm proud to be here, and I'm not just saying it because they're here. But
You worry about that soccer quarters. Yeah.
yeah. checking them.
Those quarters are long gone into slot machines and penny pushers.
Oh, good.
No, but the way it is now, I mean, look at the people they bring in. Look at the people they've like Alex Daniels trained here, and he's getting booked out everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, Johnny Gargano was a kid, you know, on the first
Right.
shows, and now he's in WWE. But all the talent they bring in, all these like unknown guys that become stars, like someone like Sean Schultz. I mean, I'd never heard of him before, and look at what he brings to AIW now.
He's great. He's like one of those guys that's like, he's been wrestling forever, but nobody has ever really picked him out of the
It's
South.
like the same thing. The South and Canada are like the same thing, where these dudes have been killing it for a decade, and we're lucky enough to be able to give them exposure.
Ethan Page, you know,
Out of nowhere.
I'd never heard of him, and
Me either. I still never heard of him.
Ethan Owens, though, that's your guy.
I love Ethan Owens.
Are there guys? I mean, since you've obviously refereed for tons of matches, tons of people, are there guys that you watched and you saw make it and you kind of were surprised about? But at the same time, are there guys where, at this point you're like, man, when's this guy getting the break? Because you just feel like he's been out there so long.
yeah, there's some that have made it all the way to WWE or TNA or whatever, and you kind of shake your head and like kind of wonder. But there's always a reason, whether it's a build or they can talk, or but some you do kind of like, But and I don't.
No,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel bad saying any kind of names
All right,
either
all right.
way.
That's fair. We won't put you on the spot like that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to put you on the spot for this. Give us at least a couple of your favorite AIW matches that you have reffed.
Oh, I don't know specifically. Like anything with Ray Rowe, Josh Prohibition,
Yeah.
Eddie Kingston. He's always a lot of fun.
You guys buried the heat.
No hard R's.
As long as you don't drop those, yeah.
There's young guys like Dom Garini.
I mean, you ref for the former WWE Universal Champion.
Yeah, Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
Kevin Steen. Yeah, once or twice, a couple times. And it's like amazing. And like sometimes like you watch him on TV and it's hard to like say like, I was raising his hand 2 years ago or 3 years ago. And it's weird.
And like I know you're a guy like me, one of the things we bonded over before we hated each other for a while was we're both collectors, with my flea market, and I know you have a vast museum, almost Pedro level.
Yeah.
And like how weird is it that you ref for guys and then they become action figures? Because I know for me it's crazy that guys that have come through these doors have now been, action figures or video game characters or
Right, and I remember people saying like, "Oh, Tom Dunn's old. He's bitter." I've never been bitter. I've never been jealous of like anyone because it's great to see these guys go. Like we're all part of it, but not everybody can make it.
Yeah, I think a lot of dudes are just like, oh my God, why isn't it me? And I've told a lot of the students, like, you have a path and this other person had a path, and like your path might not take you there, but
Yeah, like I don't think Vince is looking like for a 7 foot, 65.
I want a guy that looks like Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah, we've talked about your age multiple times through this episode. We haven't said what it is, but is there still a vision? Is there an end game for you, or this is just about fun for you?
I
now?
have no idea. Probably, I don't know. If anyone wants to hire me, yeah. Go ahead.
He has a resume waiting to go.
That's a great plug for himself, right? I mean, I guess if you guys want to hire me,
Yeah, hire
He's
me.
old though, so he might have to go to the library when it's open to send the resume. But
Yeah.
I mean,
we'll send it to you.
that's
their
kind of the thing
computers.
that I think a lot of people don't realize is like, there is goals and end games for like wrestlers and performers, but as far as like the promoters and the referees and kind of like the support staff go in an independent wrestling event, there's really not that big of a
it's kind of like where can you go?
right.
Yeah.
Like there's really not that big of an opportunity beyond this level for a lot of people. But I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing because
Right.
you need this infrastructure within the industry. But like if you're a wrestler, it's like, yeah, I want to go to WWE or I want to go to TNA.
Like goals are obviously a lot easier to see.
Yeah, it's like you just have to have different goals for the different, I guess, positions. You know what I mean? Because now even WWE is just hiring wrestlers as refs.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I don't mind though. It's like I like having where I go to work during the week and I can do that too. It's a nice balance. I don't mind it. Like I like this. I hate when people call it a hobby or even amateur wrestling because It's still a job.
Yeah.
It's still
Yeah, you're getting paid.
Yeah, I've always taken it seriously. Like, I've rarely ever called off a show to go. You know,
and I think that's a big difference when somebody calls somebody a weekend warrior. It's like an insult, but picture more a weekend warrior as the type of guys like you were saying in the SpongeBob pajama pants,
right?
Wrestling in a basement of a prostitute hotel. Rather than like you that is always taking it seriously. I've never had any issue with Tom Dunn with he always has gear. He's always ready to go. I don't think you've ever been late, never no-showed.
No.
And like so many people at this level take it for granted, and I don't think Dunn has ever done that.
No, I never have. I mean, I've loved this stuff since I was 12, 13 years old. And
back when Luthez was champ.
Exactly. And it's just, I value every second of this. I appreciate everything. Working for you guys or any other promoter who's had me.
And I think a lot of guys are so concerned with what's my next step, what's this, what's that, to not enjoy the ride. And I think it's very awesome that you've enjoyed the ride. And I know Thorne and I sometimes are like, holy shit, we're doing this at this level with these people. Can you believe it? And
right. Yeah.
It's kind of dumbfounding sometimes.
I mean, I grew up a Roddy Piper fan. I was never a Flair fan or a Hogan fan. I mean, I'm just talking about the top guys. And Roddy Piper was it for me. And 3 years ago, he was in Youngstown. I worked the show. He was a second at ringside, and that was it. I could have stopped that night.
He put me in a sleeper hold that day.
Oh, that was awesome.
Because
it's the background on my phone right now.
Yeah, it's my Twitter picture.
Well, as we wind this down, there's a great segue as you bring up a legend in the wrestling world. We were talking earlier before we started recording, and even in this show, you've talked about different guys that AIW brings in. Do you have any fun stories? Because you've picked up people, you've given rides to people.
Well, he took Jake the Snake to buy baking soda to make crack, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Yes.
Yeah. Any wild or just fun stories or people that you met and you kind of idolized or just were waiting to meet and maybe they met your expectation or didn't?
Terry Funk was a lot of fun. I think everybody he was like everyone's crazy grandfather.
Did you rep that match?
I was in it. I was knocked out.
That's right.
I didn't get to see any of Funk's stuff.
So what you just heard it, or did you catch a peek?
The way I was laying, I couldn't even see it.
Oh, you just heard.
I saw it on video later.
You just heard stuff flying. What were you thinking?
That he was busting everything in the building.
And he was.
Yeah, and stuff like that, guys you watched Saturday night's main event, him against Hulk Hogan, Junkyard Dog stuff. You're a kid watching it, and then this guy's you're meeting him and talking to him. And
it's so awesome.
And I don't feel like I'm marking out for it. You're just you're meeting one of the top people in your industry.
When we went the night before out to dinner with him, I'm just staring at him and I'm like, never in my life did I ever think I would be sitting at a table with this guy. I watched him all through my childhood, all his movies, everything else, and I'm just I'm kind of holy shit, this guy's a real guy.
Right.
Yeah, it's real strange when you meet these guys that you've watched your whole life and they're just normal, regular people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's down here holding basically a roundtable discussion.
Yeah.
Just
because I started feeding him beers and that was it, dude. As soon as he found out it was okay to start drinking some beers before he had to go out, Terry Funk was the best.
What about anybody else?
I'm trying to think. I mean, there's so many people have come in here.
You used to have a hell of a resume on your MySpace.
It's still on my Facebook. You can go look at my big list.
What about we just want to throw this out here because I have to mention it since Biggins did earlier. You don't have to tell us about the car ride or anything, but true or false, Tom Dunn, a certain WWE female Hall of Famer, once bought you Chipotle.
Yeah, she did, and I deserved it after the ride because I don't know. We don't need to talk about it.
No, we don't need to get into it.
No.
But we could just thank Amy for that purchase of Chipotle.
She did, yeah. She bought it for me.
Get you double meter.
No.
Oh, what a bitch.
Whoa.
Biggins will say that for you, allegedly.
Allegedly.
Well, Tom Dunn, this has been a good time.
Thanks.
Thanks for sitting down with us on The Car Is Going to Change.
Are you happy that you never did commit the murder on Chandler Biggins?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you would be in jail and there would be no bookings.
Yeah. There might not be any AIW.
That was probably a sinister side to Tom Dunn. He would have done it and not gotten caught. he would have found a way.
Yeah, in Youngstown, there's enough places to hide a body.
Absolutely.
Man, that's all Youngstown is.
That's the only place where the
See,
mob
he
still
already
exists.
he already had a plot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, dude.
Do you
I
have
had
mob
that.
ties in Youngstown?
No, there's plenty of mob there, though.
That's right. Allegedly.
Yeah.
I bet he knows a lot of them, though.
Yeah. Yeah. He says he
I
doesn't.
bet you're just one phone call away from the kitchen phone.
Nah.
Tom Dunn probably still has a kitchen phone.
I'm sure he does.
You got a landline?
No, I have an iPhone.
Oh.
The Duke still has one of those phones you got to do with your finger, rotary phone.
Rotary dial. Well,
Duke still has to call an operator to get an outgoing call.
I think I'm older than Duke.
Oh, my God.
Don't reveal that.
I want to do my Jerry the King Lawler jokes here.
Well,
What's your social security number? 3?
Yeah.
You have an autographed copy of the Bible?
Wow.
Adam even done?
All right, that's it, Biggins.
Yeah, that'll be edited.
are we sitting here at your restaurant?
That'll be edited.
All right. Well, as we wrap this thing up, I mean, you guys have known him obviously longer than I have. Do you any stories you remember or anything you want to get out of Tom Dunn?
I think we hit a lot of them. I mean, it's just been nice to have you back, and
Yeah.
I think it's been a pleasure. And it's one thing I never thought in a million years Tom Dunn would ever be back. But I also thought the same thing about Ray Rowe and about everybody else we've brought back.
Yeah, Ray
Rex
stole my
Brody.
thunder. Ray stole it. Ray stole my thunder.
Yeah.
Is Tom Dunn as professional as the Headhunters?
He's never called from prison yet.
Not yet.
But professional nonetheless.
Professional nonetheless.
Well, for Tom Dunn, our guest, and for co-owners of AIW, John Thorne and Chandler Biggins, I'm Steve Guy. We hope you enjoyed this episode of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Join us right back here next week, and enjoy this week, everybody.
Thanks.
You almost forgot to do it.